Hi Libra, how are you? Welcome to your mid-May general reading. Thank you so much for being here. This is going to be just kind of general energies for the middle of the month. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Also, be sure to check out the description box down below. I've put my private readings on a temporary hold as I'm restructuring my website right now. Still trying to get like more professional with everything. But anything else, other links to additional videos, as well as where to find me on Instagram for free daily readings. All right? Thanks so much. Let's go ahead and dive right in here. Readings for May. Okay. Interesting, the Hierophant coming out first. Now, you are very likely getting to a point of wanting something bigger than yourself, right? That's what the Hierophant represents. He represents our attachment to larger institutions, whether that's marriage or, higher education, working for a larger corporation or a big nonprofit or something like that. And, fill in the blanks as you see fit. But a lot of times we do go through phases where we want to align with something a little bit, we're not really wanting to go against the grain so much. And maybe we're trying to, maybe some of you have gone through over the past couple months a period of like finding yourself. Or, maybe you tried something against the grain and it didn't really work out. So you're sort of realigning to the conformity method. And maybe temporary, it might not be something that you will really stick to. But right now, I think that that's kind of where you're at. Now, with the North Node moving from Virgo to Leo, which happened just a few days ago, there really is this newfound commitment to happiness. And it's very likely that a lot of you have not been feeling, you may have a lot going on and you may have a lot of progress and movement and going here and going there and doing this and doing that. But it's still like, I think, somewhat a little bit unfulfilling. And it's like there's got to be more. And there might be a little bit of soul searching going on where you're trying to maybe figure that out. What is more and what does that really mean for you? Oh, makes sense. What's getting in the way is, maybe some of you have had some dashed hopes. You gave something your all and it didn't work out. You were all in and it didn't work out. And not that maybe you are essentially disappointed, but rather that, and not even so much either that your expectations were so high. But perhaps maybe even some of you got exactly what you wanted and it just didn't quite, I have something on my back. It just didn't quite do what you thought it was going to do. It didn't feed you what you thought it was going to feed you. Oh, here's the soul searching I'm talking about. Really intense, a lot of intensity here, but like good intense, like wholesome, positive, really, really deep alignment happening here from a very foundational and a very fundamental level. The Hermit is that old wise man on the mountain, and you go up there and you climb the mountain and you work so hard to ask him the one question: what is the purpose of life? And that's kind of what you're asking yourself. What is the purpose? What is the meaning of all of this? And it really makes a lot of sense that wherever it is you are, everything that you have, it just seems a little less sweet than you thought it was going to. And likely out of some form of disappointment, or even here, like I was saying, this is kind of the detour. Maybe this is your detour from your personal beliefs, and now you've done that in the past and it didn't really work out, and so now you're kind of readjusting and saying, okay, where can I put myself? What do I need to do? What decisions do I need to make in order to to be happy? Some of you may have gone through something really painful, a painful situation, a split of some kind. Maybe you were, I'm going to be a little bit more dramatic, okay? Maybe some of you were fired, or maybe some of you did have a falling out with a parent or a sibling, or, you know, maybe your child even kind of was sort of acting out, and kind of there was a wedge between the two of you. I'm seeing a lot of elements of family here, and with the Ten of Cups. So family and those that are close to you, friends and family, not so much in the work realm, but it could speak there as well. You are healing, you are getting over something, you know, and a lot of times the disappointment that we experience in our life, you know, really is kind of what leads us, and it really does change and shape our mindset. And this is a beautiful thing. It hurts sometimes, and it's really hard, and likely it was really hard and has been difficult for the past few months. But I think finally now you are starting to be like, okay, I get it. I understand. And it's likely a conversation you're having with God or the universe or your higher self, where you're saying, I will follow your lead. I know where I'm supposed to go. And this is not in relation to anybody else. This is 100% about you. And that's a beautiful thing as well. And I feel that there is a level of groundedness and a level of calm, a lot of serenity maybe surrounding you. And like I was saying, we've all been going and doing. And for what? You know, what has it really gotten you? What have you gotten out of these experiences lately? It seems to be a fixation of some kind. And likely this is something that you're really going through on your own, and you're not really opening up about this. You're not talking about it. You're not really sharing it with other people, because I do feel that you recognize that it is a little bit of your own journey. It is a little bit of your own path. Whatever this was, the Lover's reverse, whatever situation occurred recently, and please tell me, I love reading comments. I might not respond. I don't respond very well. I'm terrible with that, but I read them because they come through on my email. When I'm sitting in a cafe or something, I will go and I will scroll through all of them. So please tell me what you guys have been going through, because this is hard. And it really forces us to challenge our own belief system, our own morals and values and ethics and what we value in life. And that's a huge thing. This is a very big picture type of reading, right? You're at a very significant pivot point in your life, and very likely has to do with this North Node entering Leo. But you are fixated, I think. You're fixated, and you're not really willing to compromise on this newfound understanding of what life is or what life could be. Your environment is the Nine of Swords, so likely tied with the Lovers, right? A lot of anxiety, a lot of thinking, maybe too much thinking. You guys are probably like overthinking stuff right now. And feeling very overwhelmed, and likely also very alone. Like you're on this path alone, you're going through this alone. You understand that, and I think you accept that. But at the same time, it's like you do want to incorporate those around you, especially if you have a family or if you have a spouse or children. You know, you do want to bring them in on that. But sometimes we really are just meant to be, you know, like no one can live your life for you. No one can go through this for you. And you recognize that. And you will find your grounding. You will find your footing. You will find the direction. And this is a very powerful thing, the Three of Swords. This is what kind of gets us to act. You know, it gets us to make decisions. You may be uprooted for a little while, right? Because you're no longer on that detour anymore. But the detour itself is a path. So at one point you made a choice to go this way. So you were on that path, but now you got to get back to the mainstream. Now you got to get back to where you were originally headed and where you were originally going. So you got to make that adjustment, and that adjustment will kind of uproot you and make you feel kind of like up in the air. And I think there is anxiety with that, because maybe somehow, somewhere along the line, this situation became comfortable or became known. It's something that you understand. And your hopes is hope. Very hopeful right now. But there is a level of idealism, right? And maybe that's kind of what disappointed you. And maybe you're even afraid of having an ideal. You're afraid of having something in your mind that, like, this would be the perfect thing. Be careful with that word perfect. If that enters your mind, be very, very careful, because we all know nothing's perfect. We all know that no one will do exactly what we want. And it's just, that's life, that's humans, you know, that's the way we operate. You may be afraid of really opening yourself up and really setting goals, and you may be afraid of the crazy a little bit, you know. And when I say afraid of the crazy, it's one of those things where, you know, some of the most successful people in life are the people that set these huge expectations and project these expectations onto other people. And it's likely that you are afraid of doing that because you don't want to be disappointed again. And so you're playing it a little bit safe, Queen of Pentacles. You are playing it safe. And maybe even this is like the road of safety as well, right? Something really didn't work out. And it's like you're going home. Home up here, home down here. But I think after such a massive detour, it's okay. I don't think that it's, you know, I think we all need that period of recovery. Like we went out to war, we did the fight, we fought the good fight, and now it's time to come home. And now it's time to feel that safety and to feel that comfort a little bit. You may really be asking yourself if you're doing the right thing, or what is the right thing, you know? And really not knowing. And likely there has been a place, or there was a decision of some kind that you did have to make. Maybe you haven't made it yet, you know? I think that last month there was a lot of energy around Libra about, like, you gotta make a choice, you gotta make a choice, you have to make up your mind. But I think that energy was because you were projecting out, I have to make a choice, I have to make a decision about something. But the more and more you didn't make a decision, the longer and longer it kind of lingered. And there was, in fact, maybe an indecision, a decision that you've never made, something that you never really decided. Maybe you never moved on from something. Maybe you never made that clean break from something. So it's still there. It's still in your life. And now it's like, do I really need to make that choice? Do I really need to cut something out of my life? Do I really need to get back to normal? Like, so you're just kind of in this, I think you're feeling, you're pressuring yourself a lot, to make a decision. You're pressuring yourself a lot to do something specific, or to go somewhere specific, or, to have a certain conversation with someone, or whatever it is for you. You're feeling a lot of pressure on yourself to address this. And the Empress reverse makes sense. Right now you're feeling uprooted, and right now you're probably feeling a little bit of a twinge of failure. Maybe you have had a little bit of loss in your life. Okay, maybe things just really haven't panned out and worked out, and you're like, God, like I spent so much time and so much effort really trying to make this work, and it just didn't. And now you're feeling unsure of yourself. Now this is the card ruled by Venus, so it is associated with Libra, Taurus, but also Aries as well. But Libra, why do I keep saying Leo? Libra, it is you. And I don't like seeing when the cards of the signs are in the reversal, because it means you're not feeling like your top self. I think you will get there, and I think there is even someone around you. Yes, this I see as you, but I also do see it as someone else. This is likely a more female influence a mother, a sister, you know, someone that you're very close with, a best friend, someone that is very warm, warm when you get to know them. This isn't the most friendly person, but they really have your best interest at heart. And this is definitely someone that's going to tell you when you're messing up. They're definitely going to tell you, hey, look, Libra, you know, you really, really got to start thinking about this, you know, and they're not trying to tell you what to do or try to dictate, because I think they genuinely love you and they genuinely care about you, but they aren't going to sugarcoat. So you can rely upon them to be honest. And when you need an honest opinion, like, hey, this happened, and I'm really maybe trying to debating, like, how do I get back on track? How do I realign myself with what I was originally setting out to do? They'll tell you. And they will likely be right. Okay, this is the card of Capricorn, and to be honest, I have a lot of experience with Capricorns. I have a lot of Capricorns in my life, and they are like the most right people all the time. So just listen to what they say. Likely a break with some emotional situations, or, you know, it's like, it's almost as though you had something and you had everything that you thought you wanted, but then, you know, again, it didn't work out. And there is a break with the past. There is a breakage of the past. Maybe on some level this was more superficial than you thought. I'm not trying to make this into a love reading. If you want a love energy reading, please check that out, that other video for May that I posted a few weeks ago. But this really speaks to all elements of communication, all elements of negotiation and compromise and contracts and meeting in the middle. So whatever area of your life experienced a need for a coming together of the minds, that's the area that I'm talking about. Coming together of the minds, coming together of purpose as well, and really realigning things. But I think that there was a choice, or maybe you haven't made that choice yet. Like I said, maybe that choice is still kind of lingering because I'm seeing it here. I think this decision has been around you for a while, and likely the decision to cut something out of your past, okay? And I'm not really going to say that that thing is really toxic. I'm not going to say that it's essentially bad for you, but I think that it's not in alignment with your higher purpose, per se. And maybe you wanted it to be, maybe you were hoping that that would be the case, but you know that it's not. And I think that's kind of tearing you up inside, because it's like, how can I want something so much, and how can I be so attached to something and really, really want it, but then at the same time, I know that I will never get what I need from it. Like, I know that this situation will not give me the results that I really feel that I need. And maybe that's why it's so hard. Maybe that's why you're like sitting there and weighing the scales and being like, oh, I really, 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 really want it. And I really want a chance. And I really want to get this to work. And I really want success in this area. But I know I won't. But you haven't given it a chance yet. And so you're going like back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you are being quite protective of it. It's almost as though you are hanging on to this. Maybe there is some even a little bit of an addictive nature here. This indecision seems to be something that I'm not going to say you want it, but it seems to be something that you're not letting go of. You're protecting that sorrow. You're protecting that heartbreak or that disappointment in some way. And yes, fixation, unable to move on. There may be travel in your cards. Ugh, another card of not moving on. Libra, whatever this is, whatever decision you need to make, I know you're afraid of like making the wrong decision. You're afraid of being rash and afraid of prejudgment and prejudging things. Some of you may really decide to give it a chance. I kind of feel like this is you giving it one last shot. And that's kind of the energy that's lingering around you. It's like, okay, I'm going to give it one more shot, one more chance. And if it really, really does not work out, then I will decide to walk away. But how many chances have you given it? How many chances have you tried? One thing about Libra that's both good and terrible at the same time is their ability, and I can say this, Libra ascending, 100%. Libra speaks to me way more than Virgo speaks to me. Is you always want to see the best in people. You always believe that there's goodness, and you always believe that there's hope for change and hope for revision. And it does, Libra is the typical stereotype, in all aspects, always the one that's going to give people second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances over and over and over, because you fundamentally believe that when someone says, I've changed, or things will be different, that they will in fact change and they will in fact be different. Now, there's all your planets are different. Everyone out there, your charts are different. So I'm not saying that you're all like that, but it's a stereotype, right? And there's stereotypes sometimes for a reason. I think that this is the last chance. And there may be communication here. There may be talking and conversations, and there may be things kind of in the works even. Like, okay, let's organize this last chance. Let's get this going. Let's see how this goes. Let's get the time to get together, or let's get the time to get this down on paper and get this plan in place and just get it going. Like, there's no lack of movement in the realm of the logistical things, okay? So the logistics are kind of coming together. The logistics are things, it's more mental and emotional where there's the lack of movement. Page of Pentacles. See, there does seem to be elements of communication, talking, opportunities, okay? Still more indecision. But Libra, it's really important for you to reach or attain a level of true authenticity. That's all. That is more and more how I define the Two of Pentacles, okay? Because I really feel that it's more of a choice of, or more of a juggling of versions of ourselves. You, like I said, you kind of do have two versions of yourself. You have your traditional self and you have your detour self. This is your detour, this is your traditional. So you are kind of like, well, you're not maybe quite ready to get back to that full-on traditional, but you're also like, the detour didn't work. So now you're kind of in the middle. Like I was saying, you're very ungrounded, very like up in the air and feeling very kind of just like not knowing and hemming and hawing, and maybe that's kind of what's weighing on your shoulders here. Maybe you do end up reaching out. Maybe you do end up saying something or doing something for this situation in order to, it's almost as though you're like pushing it on to like unfold. Like, here, let me help you along. Let's make this happen. Let's manifest this. You are manifesting things, which is good. It's a beautiful thing. And I think that, again, more optimism here. Like, you're so hopeful. I don't see anything wrong with that, except that the fact that there is a little fear that your ideal is going to just disappoint you again. You're afraid of the repeating pattern, and you're afraid of people not living up to expectations, but yet you continue to give them a chance. You continue to entertain the idea that there's possibility that this really could work and that this really is going to be better this time. And, that's neither here nor there. It's neither, good or bad. It just is. Some of you will decide to push this through, and others of you will decide, nope, I really need to move on. I really, really, really need to clean slate it and find, whatever it is I'm looking for in a different way, from a different person, with a different different path. So it's going to go both ways. I think some of you, it's like you're not going to be able to feel good about moving on until you know for a fact that this absolutely will not work. Okay? Now, some of you may be kind of trying to preempt it, right? So you're manifesting things. The Wheel of Fortune is not quite prime yet, so I don't think it's quite the right time for things to be manifested. It's all in the works, okay? It's all in the works. It's all kind of coming together. The plans are getting organized. But, like, I don't think you're going to be able to be productive in your life until you know for sure. And so, but some of you, like I was saying, you may preempt it. Because what you really want is peace of mind. What you really want is peace and, you know, objectivity. It's so much better to be here than it is to be here. This is where you are. This is what you're hoping for, okay? You're hoping for peace. You're hoping for just calm state of mind and feeling sure, right? It's hard sometimes to feel sure. I'm seeing a card here, Knight of Wands. This can be a fire quality. Okay, this is the card of Sagittarius though, but Sagittarius, Aries, Leo. But doesn't have to be, can be anybody. I am getting a sense that this person or this scenario, okay, I feel like this scenario is something that you've been trying to possess or you've been trying to grab. And you just can't. Like, it doesn't have to be a person. It can be a situation. It could be a thing, too. Like, it's something that you really, really want, but it's just like, it keeps slipping through your fingers. It's like trying to grab water, you know, and they just keep, like, you just can't grab onto them. And I really think, I keep going back to this and I never finish the thought. So let me finish the thought. I feel like there's going to be something that happens, like you will manifest a conversation, I think. I'm sensing conversation because of this, and also this as well. This is kind of like a heart-to-heart, right? Where you drop the mask. Maybe this hasn't come yet, but you drop the mask and you kind of lay it out all on the table. So maybe you don't want to completely fulfill or go through with the original plan until you have that, like, is this right for you? Is this right for me conversation? And then that will help you to make your decision. And that conversation or that, you know, will kind of go something like this. Look, here's how I feel. This is what I think. I'm worried that, but I'm hopeful that, and this, okay? Here's all my cards. No pretense, no pretending, keeping it real, keeping it raw, on some level knowing that this person or this situation won't meet you there. But at the same time, at least you giving yourself peace of mind, knowing for sure that you did everything you could and that you were 100% committed to figuring out whether this was a go or a no-go, right? I'm sensing, if this is a person for you, I'm sensing fear of entrapment or fear of commitment from this person, that they really don't want to invest that much. But I also feel that they're not going anywhere at the same time. There's something about the Knights, the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Swords specifically. I think it's the masculine polarities, the air and fire. There's something about those signs that they can very easily cut you off if they want, but I sense a connection here. I sense like an attachment or an entanglement of some kind. And that entanglement is going to kind of keep you guys lingering in each other's lives. I don't know why. I'm sensing maybe even distance between the two of you as well. And that entanglement is like, you know, this person will disappoint you. I think you know that. I think you know that this person is not like totally on the same page as you. Not even in love, okay? Please open your mind. I know it kind of always tends to lean toward love, but you know, it's so open for interpretation. There are going to be so many different scenarios. That's why I'm saying, like, leave your stories down below so I can read and kind of see how it applies, if it does. But you guys have a history, and it kind of seems to be a little bit of an intense history and an intense entanglement or kind of thing. But this person seems to be in the exact same place that they were when all this kind of went down, whether it was a few months ago, a year ago, 5 years ago, however long ago. They seem to be kind of in the same place, a little bit unchanged. They are not commitment people. They are not going to sign anything. They're not going to do anything. They're going to keep kind of pulling out and you know, kind of coming and going, and they're an ebb and flow in your life. And maybe that's really why it's been so hard to make that decision, because it's like, you know that they're not going anywhere. You know that there's always going to be an opportunity somewhere in the future for you guys to talk, or for you to reconnect or see one another or whatever. There's always going to be that opportunity. And you really are hoping that one of these days, one of those opportunities is going to get you what you ultimately always wanted from the beginning. But I don't think that time is this time. Okay, so for some of you, you may take this and say like, okay, like, I already know that it's time for me to move on. I really need to just stop participating, like whatever it is you gotta do, blocking them, or you know, stopping looking at their social media if you're kind of looking on to them or whatever. So stopping doing that and really moving on. Some of you will decide that. Some of you will do that. And others of you will participate. And that's fine. But just know that any disappointment that you get from that was to be expected. I think you expect it. It's almost like you're afraid of hoping for the best, but you still do anyway, kind of thing. So just be careful and, you know, protect yourself. Really protect yourself. If you know that something's bad for you, don't do it. You know, don't do it. You know, keep yourself, keep your heart, keep your love, keep that commitment to goodness, keep that commitment to happiness and joy within your own life. I think this person doesn't quite contribute to that. So just be aware. All right, well, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much, Libra, for being here, and I will see you in a couple weeks with the love reading. Thanks so much.